Right. Well.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to LMM. And if you're enjoying what you're seeing on the channel at the moment, how about giving this video a like and maybe subscribing to the channel to help us grow, and perhaps even check our Patreon. Well, there is a renovation in the shed, and the observant amongst you will have noticed that the chimney and the SA310 are in fact still here, which means I lied to you all because I said these were going. And on that bombshell, welcome to What's Broken Now. First off, this episode is sponsored by my friends over at Topdon, who sent me this little TB6000, which is a tiny little battery charger, so we'll be trying this out later on in the episode. But first, onto these things and why they're still here. You will indeed notice that this is only 2 out of the 3 of Matt's cars that were in the shed. He turned up and drove the MR2 straight to an appointment to a garage to get it sorted and get it back on the road. And then he turned up with a van and collected the 2 bikes that were stored in the shed.
Surprise, more secret vehicles which are no longer going to be in the shed.
And a number of the tools that he bought, including the welder. But left these because Matt doesn't have a trailer. So these stayed here. Matt also doesn't have anywhere to store these vehicles at present. And having spoken to him about this, the result is that the chimney is now up for sale. And I did in fact contact the original owner to see if he wanted it back, and initially he was very excited about the prospect, but then that all went cold. So now I'm offering it up to you guys. This is for sale. So drop us an email, get in contact, go to the website for the contact us box and make an offer. Whoever offers me the most money is going to be the proud owner of a chimney. It's in relatively good nick. Matt took the body off the chassis to look at the chassis, and his plan was to clean it all up, but he never got round to it. But the chassis is mostly okay. It needs some new bushings, but that's about it. It is fully stripped, but comes with a plethora of spare parts. In fact, I think there are 2 chimneys worth of bits here. There's 2 bonnets, spare wheels. It's got doors, and it needs some work. So we can see here on the side is where a bit of attention is needed. Matt's done some welding. You can see where that's come through on the inside, where he's put better new wheel arches in, because the originals were pretty knackered, so he's put those in. Yeah. So message me in the comments, give me an offer, let me know what you'd pay for this, and if you want to come get it. Because at this point, I would just like it gone. I can also do nationwide delivery if you really want it delivered at an additional cost. But get in contact and take on this project, return it to its former glory back on the road. So hopefully for the next episode of What's Broken Now, these 2 will have finally disappeared from the shed. Hopefully one of you lovely lot will have got the chimney, and the SA310 will have gone to the new storage that Matt is trying to organise. Now, the observant amongst you will have noticed that the big red thing is behind me, back where it belongs in the shed. And that's because its ordeal is finally over. Although all of this took a mighty 3 months of going back between me and the garage.
You find me again in the cab of the big red thing, heading back to the garage. Because when I brought it home the other day from having its repairs at some 700 and something pounds, I noticed that my battery gauge wasn't telling me that the thing was charging. And having got home and run some tests, I can confirm that I can't get anything out of the alternator. So I phoned up the garage and said this, and they went, oh, well, it's probably your fault, probably something's gone wrong with it, nothing to do with us, Gov. Luckily, as I was filming last time, I had the 360 camera up, and you can clearly see on the 360 camera, as we went in, that the gauge is showing that it's charging. And when I told them that I could clearly see on camera that the gauge was charging when I brought it in, they went, you better bring it in then. So I'm not really looking forward to this. I don't like having confrontations with people and saying, actually lads, you broke my thing. On the other hand, for 700 and something pounds, I don't expect it to come back broken. And also, the thing that annoys me most, more than the fact that my truck's broken up and paid money for it, is the fact that it's another 45 minutes for me to get up here, another half hour to take this to the garage, to then have to get on the train to go back home. So it's wasted most of my evening. By the time I get home, it will be dark. And when I don't have an awful lot of spare time, this is annoying. Like really, really annoying.
The observant amongst you will have noticed something orange kicking around on the rear seats of the fire engine, and that is my Rusher electric bicycle. This thing has turned out to be very useful because it fits in the back of Dupes, and it means that having parked up, I could hop on that, cycle to the railway station to get a train home, and once I'd finished with that, I could then cycle from the train station back to my house. So this thing has turned out to be very useful indeed. Anyway, back to the shed.
And you'll notice that I'm stood by the yellow thing, and because it's been a very long time since we've actually had an update on Viking. Now, I now have most of the things that I need for this machine. I've got the bonnet sat somewhere over there, and various other little bits and bobs. But the hardest component to find for a Massy 40 digger is the door. These just don't exist, and most of these you see for sale have lost the door because they're one of the first things to go, and they also move around, rattle, and generally just get removed because they're a pain in the backside. They are as rare as rocking horse poo. On the very rare occasion that you see one come up, it's either completely rotten, very expensive, or on the wrong side of the country. So when I saw a door come up in neighbouring Norfolk, well, I just had to go and get it. And this is my new door, completing the cab for the Massy 40. Now, I'll admit that it's not in the best condition. There is some rot in it, but it is substantially complete. I've also noticed that the hinge here is gone, so we just have a bolt holding it together. But this is much better. It's actually got it. And yeah, okay, I need to weld that up. I need to fix the hinges, but I now have a door. And that makes me very happy to have the cab kind of coming on. So it's a little bit of progress for this. Things are slowly moving forward. And I'm very excited. Oh, yeah, it doesn't quite go yet because that hinge is broken, that hinge is falling off. But there is progress slowly happening with Viking. It's one of those things I occasionally do a little bit in the background. One of the next things to do actually is to jack it up and take the front tyres away and get new front tyres on it so I can drive it around without them going down. It is one of these bonkers things. Every time you fire this thing up and you lift the bucket, you see the whole machine compress down. It's a phenomenally heavy machine. It's way over 5 tons. It's a big thing on a very little tractor. And with that, let's go and have a look at our sponsor's product. So in what will be its last starring role, I'm going to use the chimney as a table as we have a look inside this box. And I like how this unfolds like this, and we have our little charger and battery tester. So it's 2-in-1, comes on this nice little piece of cardboard like so. The only problem with something like this is it means it will never go back in the box again. I really like the fact that both the flexes are fitted with these little Velcro wraps that go all the way around so you can tidy up after you're done with it. So what's particularly nifty about this little box is that it connects to my phone via Bluetooth, and I think that's actually kind of cool. So if I grab a battery, like this one that was recently donated to me, and connect this thing up like so, I can then use the app to determine what I want this charger to do. So I'm going to ask it to test it by pressing on the test, and then I can do a battery test. I have to go through and select what battery it is, so it's a regular flooded. The battery standard, it is going to be cranking amps, and its rating is 815. And now we test. So it comes up that it's testing, and then it gives me this handy little gauge showing me all the things I can tell about it. So it's rated, the state of health is 100%, the test value is something, the battery voltage is just over 12 volts with internal resistance. This is a genuinely fantastic little tool. So a massive great thank you to Topdon for sending it through to me. This is going to be so useful to testing multiple batteries and of course maintaining the health of some of the batteries within my fleet. So having confirmed that this battery is fine, I can then just ask it to do smart charging. So I can go through all of it, it's remembered what battery this is, I can set certain times that I want the battery to charge, and I can tell it what I'd like it to do, whether I want it to trickle, to do a repair, constant voltage, or anything else. And I can just tell it to start charging. And then it will pre-test the battery to make sure that the battery is ready and it's got the right settings, and then it will start charging. What's particularly cool about this is it also shows me what it's doing, so I can see in real time what my battery is being charged. So proper cool. It also displays on the little display on front of that what it's doing. You don't need a phone for this. You can access most of it by just cycling through the buttons on it, but the phone is just infinitely cooler. So a massive great thank you to Topdon for sending this through. This is going to be a hugely valuable thing for me in the shed. If you want to get one yourself, then there's a link in the video description. And with that, on with the rest of what's broken now. So moving back onto vehicles, most of you will have seen the Mini's heroic return. It turns out actually that wasn't quite right.
So, what I have learnt is, as wonderful it is to have the Mini back, and I am truly happy to have my little car back, because I do really love this car. What I have learnt is there are in fact 2 different belts for the AC model, and they are 2 centimetres different length. Yes, the Muggins here has put the belt on that was too long. So now I'm going to have to go get the shorter belt, which means that this £20 belt replacement is now a £40 replacement bolt, because I've had to get 2 of them, because the whole time, particularly when I'm coming home late at night when I finished editing, I have to deal with this. So I headed back off to my friend's workshop, popped the cover off, and then started taking the wheels off. Evidently, I'd done them up fairly tight when I put them back on. With the wheel bolts loose, I could lift the car up into the air, pull the rest of the bolts off, and then remove the wheel. And then I could start working on the stupid plastic trim, which is such a pain in the backside to remove. So many silly little plastic clips that every time you try to remove them, they'll break. Next up, to make my life easier, I opened up the bonnet so I could remove a couple of components over the top of the belt.
And that gives us access to, that's the ticket down there, that's the tensioner.
My next job was to try and prise the old belt off, and as it was already quite loose, this wasn't the most difficult job in the world.
One belt, which is looking a bit tired because it's too big. So that was the easy bit, was getting that off. Now I need to put the correct belt back on. This better be the right one. Got to go. Right, up to there, over you, over the top of you. Right, let's spin it to get it onto the top. Good, that's that. Then you just go around there, for Pete's sake. Why? What's that there? That's the alternator. Okay, I probably do need that to be connected. And that can go there, that goes around there, that goes there, that's the headlight, that should put that back in. That goes there, that's around there, that's around there, that's around there, that comes around there. This is so difficult. It's cable ties, cable ties, cable ties. Right, that's the belt, that's the belt. Right, that goes there, that goes... Yep. Stupid. This tensioner is really difficult to move. Now, there is a special tool that goes onto the tensioner, but I don't have the special tool. So, I didn't film this because it was sketchy, but behold my genius. We have a scissor jack connected to a very large screwdriver, which goes up and pushes, just there you can see, pushes the tensioner up. Brilliant. Just to get the belt on over the top, we do that to turn the engine over, and that is on down there. It's on the top, which means I can now release the tension on this. Oh, I've lifted the whole engine on that. And with the correct belt on it, the Mini is in fine fettle. And that's really good because I really do love that car. Speaking of stuff that isn't in fine fettle though, and that is the tent. Most of you will have seen the episode where I struggled to put a temporary roof on it to keep the stuff inside it dry. And as we're now in the depths of winter, that has failed. And the stuff that I've been working on there is getting wet. And also things like Humpty, which have spent many years outside and are enjoying not being in the middle of the winter storms, also getting wet. So I decided it was time to bite the bullet and replace it. And to start off with, That meant I had to take down the old one.
Ah, the top's gone.
And of course the first stage was to get the vehicles out.
That's a better one. Steering's not got any better. That's glowing, so let's go with Massy sausage. Coughed once. I do not believe this thing makes this much difference.
On my return, I got asked to deal with some of the bulges in the roof.
Oh no! It's not meant to come down the inside. It's meant to be outside. Is it meant to be lumpy? No. No, it is not. Oh, there's definitely a hole forming there. You know what? This one is due for replacement as well. Lumpy water.
Craig started by removing the additional supports that we'd installed not that long ago, whilst I started to unbolt the frame.
Oh, thank you for moving. Got a nice shot line of you do it, turning it, and then immediately your head was just the only thing I could see. No, drop the bolt. Bit more open plan here than I remember. Oof. It's all become. It's like it's snowing in here. Do you reckon we should turn that into a giant parachute today and go for a fly? What kind of parachute are you after? Because that one's got like a good 2 meters worth of it missing.
And with the cover off, it was all hands to disassembly.
Does this just come out? Oh, that bit does. So the best day to disassemble one of these is when it's blowing an absolute hoot. Right today. I mean, that does make it easy to remove the fabric. That's true. Although apparently we may be losing the roof of the shed.
Ooh. That would be... Oh, all my stuff lives there. Oh, no. Well, I guess this has been quite good for the shed as well, because this has been protecting the shed until recently.
Until 5 minutes ago.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's fairly lucky here. It's a very blustery day today, but we're protected by the shed, this large tree, houses and a fence. Like, it's a fairly sheltered spot.
Yeah, it's just a wind tunnel instead.
Surely not too bad, because the wind very rarely comes from over there. It's just, today it's very blustery and it's getting caught and vortexing around. And yesterday it was very blustery, and the day before that it was very blustery.
Yeah, so we had a warning and we went, it'll be fine. They're still all bolted together up there,
Yeah, I
Lawrie.
was just going to take the whole roof off.
Oh, so I'm in a bad place then.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm in-
I can't get. I'll step around. You want one? Yep. Okay.
I'm in danger.
Yes, you are. Go on, man, mountain. No, that's not quite what I was
I
trying.
mean, he's done what was requested, just in the wrong way.
He's done it in a different. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's almost like the roof's come off and it's got wet and rusty. Come on, man, mountain.
I mean,
Right, lovely. Now
that
this
looks
can all go-
perfect condition.
can all do that.
Now, I've done this, great. So we can now do same again here, because that should just... Nope. That one.
The bit I'm standing on collapsed.
Or is it this one?
Ah yes, the noise of a strong man.
Well, he's done the hard work. I'll just, disassemble these things. Should we have to twist that one? Oh, I've made it so much worse! So what we're learning is leaving this in all weathers, as the with the roof that's rotten, means the whole thing goes rusty and doesn't come apart. It's been off a long time. Yeah, it's done well. Ow. That did hurt, actually. Craig, I need a man to be able to do... Oh, no. My hand whacked it up.
That's a clever boy.
I never have claimed to be a clever man.
Despite my injuries, we made good progress, and soon all that remained of the first tent was a series of grey tubes, which actually we put together so we knew what they were, so if we ever get a new top, we can reuse these bits. And then it was time to start on the second one, so we let Charles loose with a pair of cutters.
Do you want these?
They kind of do a half decent job, so leave them alone. Leave. Cut the cable ties, muppet.
Doing a good job there, mate. More snip snip. That's...
Any moment now, the wind will take this.
Yes. Yes, it will. That won't come apart. See, what these have done is they've actually very cleverly connected themselves together permanently, so you know how they go together in the future.
See, the other tent came down quite organised. This looks like absolute chaos.
I know how it all goes together, it's fine.
Do you now?
Would you believe me if I said no?
Correct.
There we go. One tent, lovingly removed.
Some of the parts of the structure were very stubbornly stuck together, and it took two of us to actually be able to separate them. But soon we succeeded, and all of the parts were separated down into their kit components. And suddenly the space was looking very empty and a lot bigger.
I'm good taking things apart.
And it wasn't long before we had it completely down and we were ready to tidy up.
Oh no. Just dribbled all the gubbins inside my...
The last job was to tidy everything up and put the poles together so if we ever want to try to reassemble it, they'll be available.
Good job. I'm amazed this actually came apart. I'm helping.
Are you now?
This is being called being a foreman. Good work. Doing a good job, mate. Good work. Proud of your work. Good work. That's how you be a good foreman.
And having taken down the old tent, there was now space to begin building its replacement. But we'll cover that in the next episode of What's Broken Now. And with that, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and seeing what's going on. And of course, please make me an offer on this thing. Please come and take away one of my problems. This needs to go to a new home. So get in contact. There are links in the video description, or of course you can use the website and the contact us box. Make me an offer. Please, please take the chimney away. And with that, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed this one, how about clicking somewhere up there for the last episode of What's Broken Now, or over there for the video where we revealed acquiring this. So you can see what it once looked like and what you're going to be making an offer on. Because I want to see it work again. Yeah, I'd love somebody to take it on and do something with it. So thank you very much. Let me know in the comments below what you want to see us working on next in the shed and what more you'd like to see. And with that, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Ta-da! Next time, you will be